see it and they realize, that when you help them make the decision that their quality of life is not going in the right direction, that they may just want to do this. Now, if they choose to not be euthanized, but let's say, like dog hospice, pet hospice, they may ask you, I don't want the dog to go, or my fellow resident to go that way. I want to go home. What can you tell me, or what can we do to make them comfortable at home until the time comes? And if that's the option they want to choose, then use your best wisdom, experiences, stories to help make their four-legged relative's final days the most beautiful it can be. Because sometimes they just want them to pass naturally and as comfortably as they can than euthanized. But if you realize as your services that really it might be in the best interest to truly euthanize, do it in a very compassionate manner. To say, your four-legged relative, I know is special to you, but you can probably see your relative is in a lot of discomfort. And probably, I'm thinking like most dogs do, with my first corgi, when the back legs gave out, he gave us a look, and we knew. He was telling us it's time for me to travel. And I think their animals will probably do the same thing. Any other questions? Go secretly. And she should know that she works with us all the time. Yes, I'll walk back with you. Yes.
The surrender situation.
Yep, surrenders, yep.
Yep. So I work for the Humane Society, and if we were to take in a surrender,
Yes.
we ask questions.
Yep.
I don't want it to be a badgering session or make somebody feel bad in the process of the questions I ask.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a way to be able to outreach to you or to somebody with our questions that we do ask to better help or to understand how to explain why we need these answers?
Mm-hmm. Yep. One good thing I think that most every tribal community has, and urban area has, is we all have tribal newspapers.
Okay.
And it's really something where you could easily put an article in there in a good way. To sit there and say, here, we're out there, and if you might need to surrender an animal, these are things that we would want a response from. So when the time happens, they don't feel like I said, like it's interrogation, okay? Most every tribe has social media. Urban areas have social media. So, use the tribe's social media to put articles in there to say, hey, if you may have to surrender one, or in their band paper. To me, that's a low-cost, high-value thing. You're putting it in there in a good way. You're giving it in there so it isn't targeting one person. You're giving general information either through their Facebook page or their band newspaper to say, if this has to, or you have an unplanned litter of puppies, you want to surrender them, our society is going to be asking these questions because we want to find them the best homes ever. And we're not doing this in an accusatory fashion, but we want to make sure that we're getting the good history so we can find them good forever homes. I think that's just a very low-cost, high-value way. So it isn't targeting one person, it's giving the whole community just a general idea of what your resources are and why you asked that for. So that way, when they're calling you, they say, hey, I read your article in the band paper, I read your article on our social media page, and yes, I do have one here, and I understand is what you're asking. So it isn't like you're asking them if I had answers for you already. That give you what you're looking for? Cool. Yes, go
I
ahead.
don't have a question, but kind of a statement. We
Yeah.
regularly take puppies and
Yep.
animals from the Leech Lake
Yep.
area.
Yep.
And we call them res dogs.
Yep,
And they come
that's
in
what we call them too. That's kind of a badge of honor. A res dog is a badge of honor.
Exactly,
Yes.
yes, and it is, because they are always nice and social and just the best puppies.
Yeah.
So if anybody's thinking about, they are very, very good.
Yes.
Yes.
And the funny part is with res dogs, I'll tell you a story about our res dogs. The Lord has seen this too. When I started 35 years ago, everybody either had a German Shepherd or a Husky. Okay? And pretty soon we had misses of each. Okay? And all of a sudden, then came the Rottweilers. And pretty soon we had Rottweilers, Huskies, and German Shepherds. And then we had mixings of the three. Then came the Pit Bulls.
How about the
Then,
Chows?
I'm getting to those, okay? We didn't have all of them, but then all of a sudden we had the Pit Bulls coming in. And again, we always say with all of the breeds, it's how they were trained. Most of the red dogs are these big, floppy, happy things. They look vicious with tears and ears and floppy ears, big love bugs, okay? And then we had these, especially in our main district, and then we went from these big dogs, and all of a sudden, we had an influx of pugs. Yes, fawn and black pugs everywhere. So we went from these big dogs to pugs. My God, our claim was pugs everywhere, snoring everywhere. Now it's Chihuahuas. Everybody has a Chihuahua. And I got a neighbor who's a big biker guy. I bet you I have his long-haired Chihuahua at a clinic, just this big macho guy, and little fuzzy little Chihuahua. I was like, what happened? We love these big macho dogs, and now we get these little Chihuahuas everywhere, you know? And then down south, I know, like, that Taos Pueblo, it was a Chow. I was down there visiting the traffic police department, like, what's all the purple tongues? Oh, we had a Chow come here in the Taos Pueblo. So every dog has got that in them. So yeah, it's an amazing what the cycle has from these big dogs to all that. But res dogs is really a badge of honor for them. You look at them, yeah, they got one chopped ear and they got like 3 things into them, one blue eye, one brown eye, and they're limping, maybe they're a tripod, you know, but they're still happy. But the biggest thing is they want a quality of life too, you know. And I always think, and that's where the groups that we work with the spay and neutering has been so good. Because we are seeing the changes of the not planned litters. The 15 years we've been doing this. You know, and knowing that when we schedule a pet clinic and we do surgeries, I have to tell each community center admin, okay, you're going to fill up 26 slots in less than 15 minutes. So are you ready? Because you're going to need like 4 clipboards, you know. Because he said, okay, when you want to post it at 9 a.m., you have 4 clipboards, because once it's social media, your phone's going crazy. And it had everyone filled up within 15 minutes. But it shows that the education, the teamwork that we've done, it makes people say, hey, I want to keep my 4-legged healthy. And especially, I want to keep them healthy by the health of having this spay and neutered, and hopefully to reduce some of the unwanted litters we have. So we are seeing that change. Of course, the need is always there. I mean, every surgery we have, 15 minutes, everyone's filled up. It just is still a great need out there. But at least we know that over all these years, we are seeing the difference. And a lot of times when Dr. Loris comes up, the animals are just coming for routine things now. There's a simple health check, no more routine things, and they meet other groups that go up to other, like Leech Lake or Red Lake or White Earth, and they're just starting this process. What I hear from them is, yeah, we see dogs and cats with more long-term health issues. So we have to spend more time per animal with the examinations, with the vaccinations, with some of the tests we have to do, which is a very common thing when we start doing this work. But as we do it, like Dr. Gloria says, and sees, they come in, hey, it's the same dog from last year, just routine checkup, shots, life is good. So you know you can get there. But again, we're a very smaller of the tribal communities. We only have 4,000 enrollees. Leech Lake has about 25,000, and so does White Earth and Red Lake, and so it's a much bigger population. I have 5 communities. Leech Lake has 14 different communities. So yes, it's a large need up there, more than what I have down here. I am proud of the teamwork that we've done over these many years. But I know, Dwayne, all you up the Leech, they'll get there. But when you have 14 communities who are begging for services, it's hard to feel you're making the dent up there. But I know your heart's in the right place, and you're doing everything you can to be of service to that community up there. Any other questions? All right, now this is a well-committed vet. Lives in Montana and works in Wisconsin. Unbelievable.
Can you speak a little bit to the different ways of living with dogs on tribal lands other folks are used to, the dogs being outside and not on a leash.
Right.
Maybe not having a collar, and how they don't need to be picked up, they're not stray.
Right.
Let me be picked up and taken away to your shelter.
Right. We would call that, when I started out, we called them just the res dogs packs. Every res you can look at Leash Lake, every community, there's a little pack of dogs, man. They just are best buds and they just tromp around where they want to go. But as we have seen now is that most of the tribal nations, including Mille, are putting ordinances in place. Because unfortunately we've had some issues with attacking people and attacking children. And again, it's just how the dog was brought up by their caregiver. It wasn't the dog's nature. It was just what the behavior they learned from their caregiver. And so we are starting to now having dog registered, like we do at Mille. Everybody has to be registered, they have to be chipped now. And we have an ordinance now where they have to be chained up in the yard or have a fence around it, just because of the safety where we've had instances of that. So a lot of the traditional res dogs just going around in packs, still there in a lot of communities. We're just trying to respond to the community when we have issues when dogs have caused harm to others and we have to put something for accountability in there. But the community still happens. The hard part is when they leave the reservation and they get picked up and families can't find them because there's no ID on them and they don't know who dog it is. And surprisingly, we have seen a lot of owners because, again, the teamwork of education is getting all the dogs chipped. And we've had 3 cases now where they've wandered off and we were able to return them home. So it does work. But the education has been a very positive one. We provide that to them and say, hey, it isn't for a criminal thing. If you chip your dog, it's for if they wander off and can't find their human. Now we have a way to scan them to bring them back home to you in a safe and a good way. And so a lot of times we're seeing people come in now and they'll say, hey, vaccination and can you get my dog chipped? Absolutely. We buy them for the tribal police department, and afterwards, every one of our wellness checks, every one of our surgeries, every one of our chips go into our tribal police department dispatch. So any dog they find with a collar on it or a chip, they can pull it up, find the owner for it, give them a call, stop by their house and say, hey, your dog's been found over here. But again, that has taken years of trust to do that. And amazing education from like Dr. Dolores and others to saying this is a good thing for your animal. You're going to feel no pain from the chip with that one. And they're like, let's do that then. So I appreciate the teamwork and education, because it took steps, baby steps, to have people believe and trust that, but when you got that, we did. So, any other questions? I know you're going, we just want to go home, we want to go home. Any woulda, coulda, shoulda questions? If you leave here today and you have any, our wonderful leader here has my number, please reach out to me. She has my email, yes, reach out to her, she can get a hold of me if you have any questions about that. Again, because sometimes when you leave and you're like, I was just getting so tired, I didn't want to get out here. And you get home, oh, I should ask Monte that question. Just reach out to her, drop me an email, and I'll do the best I can to give you a response or a little thought if you're trying to do some more outreach to that. So I hope this was useful. I know it's the last day in the class, it's just about my time. So I will leave you 5 minutes early with that one. I know it's drawing time, so again, thank you so much for your time today. And into my story. I hope it was somewhat useful and helpful with that one. I'll stick around a little bit afterwards. And other than that, you have a great rest of the day. Keep doing the great work you are doing, because believe me, my stories say, your good work makes our 4-leggeds on the outside and makes healthier 2-leggeds on the inside.